instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Well, welcome to another episode of the Flagstick Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jeff Botter, and as recently, the Flagstick Podcast is brought to you this week by Srixon Golf Balls. Now, I have personally used the Srixon golf balls for quite a while. Trying to think how long going back it's been, but it's been a while. And whether you're looking for a premium urethane option in the Z-Star series, a quality budget option in the soft feel, or somewhere in between with the Q-Star Tour, Srixon Golf is bound to present an option that will work for your game. For more information, visit srixon.ca. I want to bring in right now my co-host Scott McLeod from our Atlantic office / Atlantic studios out in PEI. Scott, welcome in.
Thanks.
And how is everything going out east? How are you enjoying a little bit of R&R along with a little work?
Yeah, it's great. It's always fun to get back down here to the Atlantic office, as I call it. Visiting my parents.
I like the Atlantic office.
Yeah, it's a good spot. You got to visit it a couple years ago, which was great for you to finally get down here. Like I said, visiting from my parents, visiting lots of relatives, maybe hitting a beach or two per day.
I saw the beach pictures.
Yeah, a little bit of golf mixed in there, not much. The golf's not really the priority more than anything, but just nice to get a little bit of downtime, but certainly, still mixing in a little bit of work, and nice to jump back on the podcast and do it in two provinces.
It is cool. Fun. And what else is great about you when you go down there is, your family's all down there, and that side of it's awesome, but you're also reconnecting with some people that used to be in our region here in the National Capital Region in Ottawa. You reconnected with Sean Joyce, who used to be one of the golf pros down here, and he's now the head professional or director of golf at Mill River. Yeah, Mill River. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, there's a lot of people that have links to Ontario, and there are people that we've met in the golf industry over the years. I mean, while I was down at Mill River, not only spent a half an hour or so with Sean just talking about operations there. They're becoming the first T chapter for Atlantic Canada. They're having quite a bit of success, doing a lot of development, really building out the facility there, and also had a chance to touch base a little bit with Louise Arsenault, who you met, and we used to meet all the time at the Ottawa Golf Show and the Toronto Golf Show. She used to come up there all the time back in the day when she worked for Rod Resorts, and then moved over to Mill River a number of years ago. So great to connect with her as well. And you know what? Even yesterday, I was walking down the pathway at part of the Prince Edward Island National Park, and one of our listeners actually saw me and said, listeners, readers, long time, Mike Riley from Brockville, just, hey Scott, what's going on? And I was like, so there's a lot of people down here obviously having summer vacations, and for me it doesn't always feel like I shouldn't say it doesn't feel like a vacation. It always feels like home to me, as far as my family being here for so long. So I just find myself sort of giving directions to a lot of people and giving them some guidance, especially the ones that are down here coming for golf, and they're asking about particular facilities, and this happens all year long. And we're fortunate that we've done a lot of promotion back and forth with Golf PEI over the years, and obviously they're great as far as promoting the province. And it's always fun to see the golf courses down here and see how the business is doing. And I will tell you, it's healthy, just like it is the rest of the country.
Beautiful. That's good to hear. What else is good to hear is that we're back recording after a 1 week hiatus there, but not your fault, my fault. The one downside to recording podcasts and doing things across Zoom when you're doing this kind of stuff is that you are reliant on the internet and the speed of it. And I had some really bad internet issues. And I'm not going to mention the provider, Bell, but it was terrible for a very long time. We just couldn't, and we were like, okay, can't do it. We just can't record. No. So I'm glad that we're able to connect this week. Glad we're able to deliver episode 15 of the Flagstick podcast to everybody. We've got a great show this week, as we always do. Some great discussions to be had on the front nine. Obviously, the golf news continues to pour in as the season continues to ramp up. We're kind of starting to get to a peak. We're in July now, so we're starting to peak a little bit, and we're going to start to bring some of that tournament and event stuff. It's going to start to dwindle down as we close in on August. But for the time being, there's a crap load of stuff going on. And we've got a good chunk of it on the front nine. We've also got an interview that you did on the back nine this week, an interview with the newly crowned Ontario Women's Amateur Champion, Carlee Meilleur. And, obviously what's going to be interesting about that interview is that Carlee's 14.
Just 14.
And winning the Ontario Women's Amateur, not the women, not the junior, the amateur. So people will start to draw some conclusions and some parallels, I'm sure, based on that. But we've got an interview that you did with her in the back nine. And Kevin Haime also has a simple drill for hitting better chip shots this week on the lesson tee. So let's get right to the front nine, because there's lots to discuss. And the front nine is presented, as it always is, by Metcalfe Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Looking for fun golf at a great rate. Save 15% when you prepay. Lots of golf left to pay, so go and prepay. Visit metcalfegolf.com to book your golf and to prepay for your rounds. All right, Scott, let's jump into the front nine now.
For sure. One
One of the most awesome parts about what we do here, what we've been doing here for 25 plus 26 years, and one of the things that I love about golf in this region is intersectional season. There's nothing more exciting. I mean, if there's I realize not everybody can participate on an intersectional team. There's only a certain number of spots available, but it's all through men's, ladies, senior men, senior ladies, juniors, and it's all club versus club. I love the whole idea of these divisions, A through Z, whatever. And 4 teams in each division, and you win, you move up, you lose, you drop down, you finish second, you host, you finish third, you stay where you are. And a lot of teams, if you're not up in A, you probably want to finish in third if you're not going to win, because you kind of want to go somewhere different every year and play other teams and stuff like that. But it's, if you've never been to an intersectional competition, let alone participate in one, if you've never been to an intersectional competition and seen the level of club support for this kind of thing is insane. Like they're all team uniforms, and the more serious they get about, the more you see the uniforms start to gel down to the belt and the shoes and everything. They some even have bags, and like it's pretty intense.
It's just a pride to represent your golf club, and I think that's what makes it so great, is that championships are fine as far as individual championships, and a lot of people get to compete in those, but it doesn't include as many people as these intersectionals do. And the intersectionals involve pretty much every club in the Valley. You have all these qualifiers that lead into it. Clubs obviously do their qualifiers in their own individual ways, but people are keeping up on who's doing well, who's going to qualify, who's going to be our top person. And then obviously, as you said, you get to the events themselves, and people have this point of pride of, where are we going to finish? Are we going to be able to go up? And, the whole team gets there, and a lot of people come out and support them. If they didn't make the team, people come as a caddy. They've obviously got a team captain there. A lot of people come as far as being spectators and to watch and to support their team, and everybody rallies around it. And I think, we know golf is a social game, and this is a chance to play for something more than just yourself. And really, there's a lot involved when you're fighting for your 6 points. There's probably more pressure on that than you might feel just playing for your individual championship. You don't want to let the team down, especially for the players as it gets down to the end, and those points start to become critical, and those matches become critical, because if they don't get those points, it's going to determine what happens. So you're right. It just it is a point of pride, and it's obviously been happening for a long time. The women's now into 25 years, the men's for much longer than that. But it's cool. And the other part too, we should say, is that this happens as well down in the Montreal district. It also happens down in the Quinte and Kingston region. I was actually talking to some of their organizers in the last couple of days, and they've obviously seen what we do from a coverage perspective with the the quick hits with all the scores as they roll in or whatever, and they're interested in trying to do that as well, to try to drive up participation and interest in them, because they've seen what the Ottawa Valley has done over the years and how great this has become. And really, it is the pinnacle for most golf clubs through the entire year as far as competitions.
100%. Now, 2 of the 5 are completed now.
Correct.
The men's intersectionals finished up, and the ladies women's intersectionals finished up. Now, I don't know how in depth you want to get into the results of this, as far as the winners go. I know we have a complete list of both.
We do
at flagstick.com, which is probably, if you want all the details of what's happened with the intersectionals, is probably the best spot to go, is to visit flagstick.com and click on the appropriate one and find all the results. But generally speaking, I mean,
the biggest thing obviously off the top is that in the men's division A, which is obviously the top division that everybody's trying to get to, Rideau prevailed there. Obviously had a very, very strong team, and in the women's side of it, Royal Ottawa took the top spot, and that's the key thing more than anything, because that's the position that everybody is seeking. When we start to get to the details, I mean, obviously there's so many divisions, so many names involved, so many points involved. It's just a lot easier to tell people go to flagstick.com, because I can tell you that on the evenings when these happen, July 10th and July 17th, when these events happen, we have those results kind of coming in all throughout the day. And it's great to see golf courses as well making use of systems like Golf Genius.
Yes,
and they're doing some live scoring for the their different divisions, so we can keep an eye on it. And then what we do is we tweet out scoring as we get it in, and then as people submit the the scoring sheets and the any photos or anything to it, we get that out there. So it takes sometimes it takes a day and a half to get all the details in there, but I can tell you that, we're keeping an eye on things and communicating with golf clubs and sites for probably, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on those evenings alone, whether we're on vacation or not, to make sure that they get up there and those get out, because, we have massive traffic of people trying to check on updates as far as these events are concerned. So, we'll certainly strive to do that for all the different divisions, but, as opposed to getting into all the details of every single one,
a little much. It's a little over the top.
We'll leave it at that. But congratulations to everybody. One who made the team, one who also competed and made the decisions to try and qualify for their teams, making their team stronger, their clubs stronger, participating in those events. And the more that this tradition continues, the stronger it becomes, through the years. And I think that's the thing, is that people have to get invested in them and decide that, they are an important thing to be involved in. And once they do, as you said, they really see what it's all about. And I think if people come and watch them, they'll realize, man, I want to be part of that team.
Yeah. It's funny when we talk about the scores and stuff coming in, and I'm kind of going off the path a little bit here, but when we talk about the scores coming in, and when I started the whole Flagstick operation in 1996, and the first time that we did the intersectional results published in the magazine itself, I believe, was 1997 when we did full results. I was getting the results from the OVGA, Ottawa Valley Golf Association, OVGA representative on site from each of the locations by fax. There's a sheet that they'd have to fill out, and it had the players and who got what points and the total, and it was like one single sheet, and they'd fill out the sheet and fax it through. So I'm
a little bit different.
Chasing, of course, Joe McLean obviously was like my OVGA inside man, because he'd be checking with me. Okay, if you got this one, no, I need A, I need Q, I need R, I need M, because I'm trying to get all these results, and they're not gonna, who's got a fax machine and who doesn't have a fax machine. There was no taking pictures of a piece of paper and emailing it, or posting it somewhere, sending it by.
That's the thing. Now we get them by Twitter. They tweet. They DM, we get them by Instagram. Again, they send by DM that way. We get Facebook messages, we get texts, we get emails, we get phone calls. They come in from all different directions. It's not like one stream. So it becomes sort of like election night coverage where you're there kind of monitoring everything. And sometimes you might miss. And what's nice though is that people realize that, we request them and ask for them. And, we will get them multiple times from different people where somebody sends it and going, hey, I see you're missing Division K.
It just comes from all different sources.
Lots of different sources or whatever. So, but it's great. And thank you to everyone who took the time to make sure to send them into flagstick.com. We certainly appreciate it. It makes our life a little bit easier, not having to chase them all over the place. And I know, obviously the team at the OVGA has to chase them and they'll get the sheets in, the official sheets in, but we like to get this news in and out as early as we can. And so we certainly appreciate anybody that contributes and passes on results for us.
Yes, so much has changed, hasn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, so in other OVGA news, Scott, the OVGA City and District Senior Men and Women's Championship.
Yeah, they just finished up yesterday. They had the first round the other day at Carleton Golf and Yacht Club, and then they finished out at Loch March, which, tough place to finish on as far as the championship.
Tell me about it.
And I can tell you, I can tell you as being a
no, don't tell me about it, actually.
I won't even talk about it. But Lise Jubenville, who actually won the senior women's title, actually started out by making 8 on that notorious first and difficult hole at Loch March, but, went on to win the championship. And then, nightmares. A lot of people have nightmares of standing up.
The good thing for Lise is unlike what happened to me years ago in the one of the amateur city championships, there is that Lise has the ability to come back and make a whole whack of birdies to make up for the 8. I did not have the ability to come back and do the same thing. So when I made the big number was hanging around for a long time, and that golf bag was a heavy bag to carry, wasn't it, Scott?
It was for a certain caddy, this one right here. And Peter Harrison ended up getting the win on the men's side. Peter, obviously, we know is another longstanding champion in the district. These are both fantastic golfers. And actually, if you go over to flagstick.com and have a look, the article by Joe actually lays out some of the past championships by Lise and Peter, leading up to this one. So for both of them, it's adding another title to the resume that are already quite distinguished. So great to see.
Awesome. Now the flagstick.com PGA of Ottawa tour got another event in, the Pro, and you were a participant with
certainly was
with your longtime pro partner Derek McDonald from Royal Ottawa. So how did all that go?
It actually went well. I mean, it was a good day. It's always good to get out to play Eagle Creek. I would say from a playing standpoint for us, so we end up 5 back in the lead. We end up, I think, tied for 11th or 12th or 13th or something like, I don't know, wherever it was. We knew we didn't have to stick around for prizing. Let's just say that. We had a couple. We were pretty steady, just couldn't seem to make a lot of putts we needed to. Had a birdie, I think, 3 of the last 4 coming home to have some success. And it's an interesting format. And, we don't struggle normally in the Chapman format, which is a modified alternate shot.
Yeah.
But we pulled a boo-boo on the 12th, the par 5.
Pulled a boo-boo.
Oh my God. We
PG rated podcast here, because that's not what he was going to say.
Yeah. As soon as you have a partner hit a golf ball in the woods, you probably should have, the smarts to hit something a little less off the tee, knowing you can reach that par 5 and not follow up and hit another shot in the woods that you have to pitch out on. So double bogeys on par 5s are not good. They are the death knell. I mean, you shouldn't make bogeys anyways. In this tournament format as you can, but I won't throw my partner under the bus, but I'm sure he will tell you that he may have struggled a little bit early on in the round.
He's still under the bus.
Yeah, but anyways, it was a fun day, and you know what? It ended up being a 4-team playoff for the main title at 5 under par, which was cool. They ended up going to a sudden death or a sudden win playoff, and Reggie Harmer and Joe DeFlorio ended up prevailing. They're the only ones that birdied in the scramble on the first hole in the playoffs. So good to see, you know, the teams competing there, and really a lot of it came down to the 18th at Eagle Creek. If people are
Always
unfamiliar,
does, eh?
yeah, and it was playing firm and fast, really was. And you know, a lot of birdies made on that hole to kind of get the teams in position. And yeah, just a fun day out there. And in the senior side of it, John Doolin and Malcolm Trickey, two guys who worked together at Cataraqui back in the day. Malcolm now retired, and John now working at Smith Falls Golf and Country Club. They won the senior division. They were also at 5 under as well. So a good win for them, but a good day overall. And you know, it was my last sort of thing before I headed down here.
Right,
I played that on the Monday and started driving on the Tuesday, but you know, no regrets as far as going and playing. It was a good day, and looking forward to more events with the tour later on this year.
Right. Of course, the next big one, I guess, coming up would be the Zone Championship, would it not?
That would be the big one. They have the I guess the Senior and Assistants Championship.
Yeah.
Will be happening as well. Have to double check the dates, but I think I'm away for that one. But the Zone Championship is obviously coming up in August down at Loyalist in Bath. Across town for me, but I'm not sure if I'm playing or not. We'll see. But you know, a great spot for an event. It'll be nice to have the championship sort of in a different area of the zone as well. That's the one thing that's been happening this year. Certainly, you know, Carlee and Baxter has really, you know, moved around some of the events, you know, within the zone this year, and the board as well, trying to make sure that, you know, it's easier for people to kind of get to some of the events, obviously with the, you know, things like price of gas and things like that, and convenience. You know, it's trying to get people involved, and as many people involved. And, you know, not everybody is in Ottawa. You know, some people are in the upper Ottawa Valley, some people are down by the Seaway. So it's nice to have some events moving around as far as locations and people to access them.
It's cool. Now, for anybody that wants to sort of follow on any of the flagstick.com Ottawa PGA Tour events, you can go to flagstick.com. We've got a special area set up in the top menu where you can click on. You can see the results and stories that we posted on all of the Ottawa PGA Tour events. We're still propagating stuff from the past, but the current stuff is all in those areas. So you can get all the results and stuff. And of course, you can go to the Ottawa PGA .com website as well, and you get the results. They use Golf Genius, so I'm sure the results in full will be up there, but we do have them at flagstick.com in a special section for you.
Yeah, and it was good of you to mention that as far as that archive, because obviously, you know, we've had a lot of support and done a lot of work with the PGA of Ottawa over the years. So, you know, developing that on our website only seems to make sense. Just make it easier for people. You know, we have a search bar, but it's just a little bit easier to find them all in one spot. So, you know, people that are interested, definitely, you know, we get those questions all the time from people: who won what in particular year.
Exactly.
You know, the easier that we can have that for people that can find it, probably the better it is.
Well, yeah, and especially stuff like the PGA of Ottawa tour, where it's something that we've been the title sponsor of the tour for quite a few years now, and Carol Ann and I will be sitting down. We were actually, unfortunately, supposed to sit down last week and didn't get a chance, but we'll be sitting down in the next week or so to kind of hash over some fresh new ideas I have going into next year's tour to really enhance the tour and its visibility, if you will.
Gotcha.
So some cool things coming up there. All right, we got a couple minutes here before we have to take a break, but I just wanted to get to the Senior Invitational of Brockville. We've got the 2-ball event coming down there in September, but there's other stuff going on down there as well. And the Senior Invitational is a big event for Brockville, and that just recently wrapped up as well.
Yeah, it ran for many, many years. And unfortunately, due to the COVID pandemic, it didn't run for a couple of years. So it was reborn with some new sponsors and was basically Dale Watts, a good friend of ours, obviously a fine player, ended up winning that Senior Invitational down in Brockville. And it's kind of neat. They've got Larry Robinson involved as the honorary chairperson, which is kind of neat as well. He played in the event, and he's well known as far as the area is concerned and beyond. Obviously,
yes.
But nice to see that event. They had, I think, just over 80 players. So good to see those invitational tournaments, those open tournaments, kind of be reborn.
Cool. Now, lastly, before we go to break,
Sure.
new Golf Canada headquarters.
Yeah,
now located in Caledon, Ontario.
Yeah, it will be. They'll break ground on that in 2023 with completion in 2025, but they revealed those details yesterday. As you said, in Caledon, Ontario, TPC Toronto Osprey Valley has become a partner there. I was fortunate to, have some discussions. Well, this is not a big secret, really. I mean, a lot of people knew it was happening, but I had some detailed discussions with the owner at TPC Toronto, as well as Lawrence Applebaum from Golf Canada a couple of years ago while visiting there about the plans for the headquarter. Not only will it become Golf Canada's headquarters, it'll also become the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame Museum. Will be relocated there. Everything obviously will move from Glen Abbey, and then it'll also be home of the first tee in Canada, which is kind of nice as far as a performance center. They have indoor simulators involved there. They have a 30,000 square foot community putting green, which will be publicly accessible for people to go in there and make use of. And then the club association, or the Club Management Association of Canada and Golf Ontario, have also committed to moving their headquarters there. And there's also going to be some other events that are supported by the PGA of Canada and so forth. So it really will become a home,
like a main golf hub for golf in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're calling it a golf community hub for golf in Canada. So it's great to see. It's been a long time coming, and it's nice to see that happening. The course itself is obviously committed to hosting future events. They've hosted many things, including a PGA Tour Canada event. That's happening this week, actually. They've committed to hosting some USGA events. I think the Canadian Women Junior is going to go there in 2026, a bunch of different things. So it's really will be a headquarters for golf in Canada.
Cool. All right. That's going to do it for the front nine. And we got to take a quick break here. And when we come back, Kevin Haime is going to give us a simple drill to improve your chipping. And Scott has an interview with recently crowned Ontario Women's Amateur Champion, recently turned 14-year-old Carlee Meilleur. So don't go away. Stay right with us. We'll be back.
With Z-Star Series Divide, Hideki sees it all. See? There's the spin, and boom. That's the line. Introducing the two-tone Z-Star Series Divide, only from Strixon.
All right, and we are back, and it's a good time in the podcast, as it always is around this time, to head out to the lesson tee and get a little golf instruction with our buddy Kevin Haime at the Kevin Haime Golf School. And the lesson tee is brought to you by the Kevin Haime Golf School. It's always the right time to play better, whether you need private lessons, a better short game, some putting help, or even custom club fitting. Visit kevinhaime.com, and remember, golf is a lot more fun. This week, Kevin has a simple drill for hitting better chip shots, so let's go take a look.
Time for a quick tip, golfers, and today we're going to make you better chippers. When I'm giving my clinics and my lessons, I see a lot of people allowing the club to pass them, and they're sculling and mishitting shots and using the wrists a lot when they chip. Other golfers, newer players, sometimes even fall backwards a little bit, and the club moves back towards them. So this is a downward hit to hit a little bumping, spinning, running shot, and you want to make sure your hands stay forward as you hit the shot. How do you do that? Let's put an alignment stick up my grip and rest it on my rib cage on my lead side, and then as I stand over the golf ball, you can see my hands are about 4 inches in front of the club. I swing back and through, keeping the alignment stick on my rib cage, and I hit a clean, tidy, rolling shot. Give it a try next time you're practicing. It'll firm up those wrists so you hit better chip shots.
Yes, indeed. A simple drill it is. And better chip shots, you shall hit. My God,
that's hard to say.
We take a week off doing the podcast, and I can't even friggin' talk anymore.
You know what? That is a good tip from Kevin. We just certainly see a lot of people that come on the lesson tee, and you just have to go out to every golf course around and find players that are kind of trying to scoop in their chips. They're trying to use the tool, as I say, a little bit ineffectively, and that's an easy way that he demonstrates there that you can kind of work on that so you can get a kind of a feel for it and make a little bit more consistency in your chips and pitch shots for sure.
I mean, it is called chipping, not scooping or jabbing.
Yeah. And we certainly see no shortage of that. I see people that are so scared to make chip shots, and a lot of it has to do with just bad past experiences. They have really poor results, but they really hope, unfortunately, that their poor technique will somehow magically become something different. And really it amounts to, they get lucky every now and then, they hit a shot and it's okay. And they think that, their technique is fine, when really it's not. And really, if they take a look at tip like that, looking how, the club works and how they can keep the handle a little bit more forward, how they can make use of the bounce a little bit more effectively as well, and keep kind of the same amount of loft on the club, they'll have better strikes and certainly, improve their chipping, at least to make it consistent enough to put it in a place where they can actually, get up and down and convert their shot rather than just creating more trouble.
Well, that's it. Chip it once, putt it once or twice. Don't chip it 3 times.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Putt it 3 times.
Not that anybody we know would ever have done that, right?
Never. It's never happened. The short game is impeccable.
Of course.
Whatever. I was just about to go to a Mike Tyson. I was going to go to a Mike Tyson rant there for a second. Petrol. All right. The Back Nine is presented by Golf Sim Gurus. Work on your game all year round in the privacy of your own home. Custom golf simulator setups built to your specs and to fit your budget. Visit golfsimgurus.ca to learn more. So, we talked in off the top of the show about Carlee Meilleur. Now, you had a chance to sit down with her, and she recently turned 14, like not more than it's a few weeks ago.
June 18th. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not long ago, and she's now the Ontario Women's Amateur Champion, and you had a chance to sit down and talk to her about that and golf and life and 14-year-old stuff.
Although I will say, if you listen to this interview, you will find out that Carlee Meilleur is a 35-year-old in a 14-year-old's body as far as how she thinks and how she goes about golf and life. And you'll hear some references in here that you would not expect from a teen in 2022, which I think is really cool. And I think that's the fun part with this interview, is that people are going to get to know her a little bit better. It's easy to kind of think about a 14-year-old teen playing golf, that they're sort of one-dimensional and this is what this person is about. But don't paint this girl into a corner. She's got a lot of things that are very wise to say. And whether you are 14 yourself or 41 or 85, think about what she has to say about golf in general. And I think you'll learn a lot from this interview. Plus you'll be entertained because, she's got a couple of funny references in there that are pretty good. But I think people will enjoy getting to know Carlee a little bit better.
All right. Well, let's get to know Carlee, and let's have a listen to the interview right here, right now.
All right. We're sitting here with Carlee Meilleur, who just won the 107th Ontario Women's Amateur Championship. How was that for you?
Very exciting. Stressful in the last round, but got to stick to the game plan.
14 years old, just turned 14.
Yes.
Birthday just a few weeks ago. Did you ever imagine winning a championship of this magnitude at this age?
Not really. It's still pretty surreal. It's a really big accomplishment, and I was happy just to finish top 20 and make the cut. So let alone win the whole tournament is really special.
Yeah. I mean, things have come a long way. I mean, I remember last year walking the practice round with you at Brockville Country Club for the Ontario Junior Girls. Yeah. Again, another tournament that you were wondering, maybe, can I just make the cut?
Yep.
Obviously played pretty well there. What do experiences like that, obviously, playing south in the wintertime for the Florida State Golf Association events, what have all those things, what have they done for you from an experience-wise to get you ready for this moment?
I mean, the more experience, the better, right? If I can have different shots, different type of situations under my belt that'll help me in the long run. But I find tournaments that have cuts, my only goal for that tournament is to make the cut. And then after, if I make the cut, then, you set the goals to bigger and better things. But it definitely helps having a lot of experience beforehand coming into these tournaments.
Will those goals change? Will you just say, hey, I want to win more of them now that you've done this, or will you just stick to that plan? I
just want to, play my golf and see how things end up in the end, and making the cut or not making the cut, shooting whatever I shoot, I'm always going to try to play my best and perform my best. Winning's always in the picture. Yeah. But you never want to have your hopes set so high and then not reach them. So I always go step by step until I know 100% that I definitely have a chance.
I'm going to take you back a little bit, although there's not a long way to take you back since you're only 14. But, while I was out there following the tournament, Chris Velkamp sent me a picture of you playing one of your first tournaments early on. I don't know how old you were, 5, 6, 7, how old you were. But, what do you think of, you got into golf, you always enjoyed the game, you've always been very competitive, you like to compete, and you're smiling as I say that. Yeah. What do you think that's done for you as far as your progression in the game and how you've taken to tournaments more than anything? I mean,
every golfer goes through different tours and different steps to get to the level they're at. For me, Play Junior Golf Tour was a really, really big part of my junior golf because I had a lot of competition at my level then. And now, the tours are, going up levels slowly. To now Golf Ontario and championships and Women's Am and stuff. It's helped me along the way, really, and just, again, like we talked about, more experience. Yeah. The more experience you can get, the better you'll be, because you've already been there and done that, and you'll feel more comfortable in the next situation.
I know you had some goals today. 10 under was one. You ended up at 9. You'd probably be upset with that bogey on 17, but in the end, it didn't really matter. And one of the other ones I heard was to get your face on one of the signs that's down the driveway here that shows all the champions. And obviously, you're familiar with a lot of those champions. You've gotten to know a fair number of top players over the years, managed to see them, play with them, and so forth. What do you think it's going to be like to come to a championship next year at 15 and see your face on one of those signs with some of those great champions? And we're talking players that not only have been, historically great as far as an amateur, but have gone on to the pro level as well. Yeah,
I have a feeling, knowing me, that when my mom and I drive down, I'll be like, who's that good-looking blonde on the sign, I feel like that could be something I might say. Yeah. Because that sounds like me a lot. But, I had goals going in, one of them being to get 10 under. I'm a big Beatles fan, so shooting -9 isn't bad because that was John Lennon's number, right? Yeah. Getting my face on.
Great reference. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wanted to go 4 days not going over par. Right. I went -2 even, -4, -3. Very happy with the outcome. It's special. It really is.
Yeah. Do you think it'll settle in more as the days go by, what you've really accomplished? Because obviously right now it's fresh, it's new. You maybe don't have a lot to compare it to, but you don't have a lot of time to sit back and enjoy it because you're back to another tournament right away.
Yeah. I'm going to enjoy this for as long as I can, because you don't know when the next one is going to come or if it will ever come. Going into the next tournament, I'm just going to play my golf. I'm not going to treat it like any other. I'm going to treat it like any other tournament because I don't want to, throw myself off with anything. I'm going to go in working as hard as I can, like I did this week, and see how things happen. But it's going to take a while to settle in, I think.
You didn't. You say you're not going to change your goals or anything, but project ahead maybe a little bit. I mean, you win this. I mean, what are your thoughts for the rest of the year? Does it give you a little bit more confidence, the fact that you closed it out and you did it in the way you did?
Yeah, it like I already said, it's a really special win, but I really don't want to let this tournament affect further performances. Yeah. I want to be able to go into upcoming tournaments thinking that I've lost every tournament and to go in with that little extra spark. Yeah.
Where do you think you get that from? I mean, I obviously I talked to your mom a fair bit, and I know her background in sports and things like that. But where do you get that mindset? Do you think is that just developed over time, or do you think that's from them a little bit?
My mom definitely helps me with that kind of stuff. I have mental coaches I'll talk to, but one idea can lead to other things, and mainly, I always want to keep cool, and I never want to get full of myself or, start bragging, because once you start doing that, things can get kind of messy. Yeah. So I always just try to stay humble, and I get that from both of my parents, really. They're very, very humble people. And, just to, move on with that is good.
So what did it mean to you to have your mom on the bag today? Obviously, I think she was more nervous than you were to start the day. Yeah. I will say that right now, and you probably saw that as well. But, that's special to have a family member there. And obviously, because you're homeschooled as well, you spend an extra amount of time with your parents. But so what did it mean to you in particular to have her on the bag all week?
I'm really close with my parents, and for me, I'm very independent. So I usually don't like having a caddy because I like to make my own decisions. And my dad used to be my caddy, and I'd hit a bad shot, and he's like, "Well, what'd you do wrong with that shot? How can you fix that?" And I'm like, "Dad, I hit a bad shot. Let's go on to the next shot." And, then my mom and I, she would voice her opinions, which is totally normal. You need those extra opinions, but that makes me doubt myself and my decision. So going into this week, I was a little unsure of how things would
play out.
Yeah. But we were really good. I was very impressed with how we got along. I actually kind of like not pushing my cart up hills. Yeah, so it was kind of a nice break, honestly.
Yeah. And, as we go ahead, I mean, you've mentioned before in other interviews and things like that, you've got goals.
Yes.
Do you want to share those a little bit? Obviously, they don't change. They're the same, but this is another step towards those goals. Where do you see yourself in a number of years?
You never know how things are going to play out in the long run. You don't know what's going to happen. But my goal is to get a scholarship and then pursue golf after that as well. I want to see how far I can go. I don't want to just stop at university if I make it. I just want to go all the way and see how far I can push myself and see what my limits are. Because I do want to have the opportunity to play, more pro events. Mm-hmm. And I want to have the opportunity to maybe win a pro event. My main goal is to just push myself as much as I can until hopefully I get there.
Do you model yourself after any particular players, somebody that you look out for? I told you just before we got on this podcast that the last person on this microphone that you have in your hand right now was Brooke Henderson, who's obviously been, somebody from Eastern Ontario, somebody that you're familiar with. But, it doesn't necessarily have to be her, but is there someone else that you pattern yourself after a little bit?
Brooke's accomplishments are unreal, right? And of course you want to, be there like that and, go in those footsteps in the long run. I'm a big fan of Lydia Ko as well, just because of her attitude. Yeah. She's never upset. She's always happy. Miss a shot, she laughs about it. Off you go. And that's probably someone I look up to a lot. And then, male golfers, I love Phil Mickelson.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with lefty.
What do you like about Phil? What do you like about his game, or him in general?
He has the same humor as me. Very sarcastic, very witty. Quick thinking, and then his short game is just phenomenal. And for me personally, I don't see how someone could not like him because he's just that kind of guy, in my opinion. But I love Phil so much.
That seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You kept yourself really calm this week, and a lot of people that I was talking to as we walked down the fairways just said they were impressed with your composure. We talked earlier, you try to stay disciplined out there, try to avoid big numbers, things like that. Is that just sort of, a self goal that you've set for yourself, or is it just something that you've naturally seen from other players and that you said, this is what I want to do and that's my path to winning?
it took me a lot of effort to stay calm on the course today, knowing what could be.
Right.
You got to keep cool on the course, and I'll go on YouTube, and other than like Paul McCartney music videos, I'll look at golf shots and like, I don't know how you would say this, but like golf's worst moments kind of.
Okay.
And you see people nervous, you see people angry and upset, and you're like, I don't really want to look like that on the course, right? So I always just try to stay positive and happy and calm, and just shot by shot, nothing's different. Whether there's 100 people watching or no one watching, it's still the same shot, and you got to move that golf ball to the hole. So it definitely was a little trickier this week to stay calm. But I guess I managed to do it.
Well, you did, and very impressive. And I think a lot of people that are maybe listening to this could maybe take some lessons from you on that. So again, congratulations. Good luck with the rest of the summer. Look forward to seeing you hoisting more trophies in the years to come.
Thank you.
Wow.
Smart kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe
mature.
it's very mature. And I think that, that in a lot of cases, great interview, by the way, Scott.
Thank you.
In a lot of cases, what you see from these young teenagers that have success, at a young age within call it the adult ranks, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe saw a little bit of the same. And I don't want to draw comparisons because people are going to want to start to do this with the Brooke Henderson stuff. And don't do it because number one, at 14, she needs no more pressure on her than she probably already has put on herself to do well and achieve her goals. And number two, she's not Brooke Henderson. She's Carlee Meilleur. And we have to remember that. But the maturity level of the younger players, and I see it, obviously I'm a hockey guy too, so I see it within the hockey ranks too. The kids that get exceptional player status to play up a level, it's not just because they're big and can play with the older kids.
Has a lot more to do with it.
It's maturity. It's up here.
Yeah.
It's their age, their maturity level for their age that allows them to play golf against bigger, stronger, older adults and have success. And I think that Carlee fits into that sort of thing. Is like, she's 14, but she's not 14 kind of thing.
What was funny about this though too is that there's such a younger age demographic in the Ontario women's amateur now. So there are players that are significantly older, twice her age, or almost three times, almost four times some players. But in her final group, she was competing with a 13-year-old who actually went on to win the Ontario Junior Championship, and a 21-year-old who is still in university, but obviously seems a lot older than Carlee. But great kid. It's been fun to follow her for a number of years now and see her game progress, see the support that she gets. I actually just got to meet her dad for the first time this week. Nad, her mom's usually with her at a lot of the events, and she happened to caddy for this event. And as Carlee mentions in the interview, but great as far as just supporting her. That's the fun part. They let her do her thing. There's not a lot of interference. Golf is her thing. It's her game. She knows what she's doing, and they just do everything they can to support her dreams and what she wants to do. And it's just nice to see her win this title, this earlier in her career. And, we're not going to sit here and predict what's to come for her, but just to applaud her for what she's done already. And, she has expectations for herself, and we'll let that play out.
Exactly. She, especially with golf, when it's in such an individual game, everything about your where you want to go with it is up
on
to you. You want to
Yeah.
put in the work, and you have the skill and the talent and the drive and the passion, then you can achieve it. But that just because you do all of that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate into multiple wins on the LPGA tour and,
right, exactly,
and so on and so forth. Because there's a lot of good golfers out there. There really is. So great interview. Love listening to that. I certainly hope that our listeners and viewers enjoy it as well. We'll probably take that interview and break it out into a separate little video for the Flagstick YouTube channel as well. So
sure,
people
sounds
can
great.
listen to it directly. All right. Something a little interesting on Product Watch this week. I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic when I saw this, but it's far from nostalgic, I guess is the point. So I want to get to Product Watch, brought to you by Greensmere Golf and Country Club. Save 40% on all-day green fees with FlexPass for only $425 plus tax. Visit greensmere.com for more information and to pick up your FlexPass. Okay, let's dive into Product Watch. The PING ChipR.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the PING ChipR, because this is, I said nostalgic only because we go years and years and years ago and talk about chippers and two-way chippers and stuff like that people used to use because frankly they couldn't chip with a wedge,
right?
But this is not this isn't in that class.
No, and it's a little bit more advanced, and here's the thing, this is nothing new for PING actually had a ChipO that was out in the 1970s.
I remember
and it was quite funny the other day when obviously posted some early pictures of this PING ChipR and the fact that it was coming out, and people are like, wow, I can't believe PING is going there. I'm like, whoa. PING has been there for a long time.
Was there any place PING hasn't been?
Right. So, from a design perspective, Carsten Solheim took on a lot of things over the years, including the ChipO, which was, one of the first chippers that was out there. It's basically a club, designed specifically for chipping. And if people have, certain struggles, they don't hit a lot of greens, they have to chip a lot during the rounds, maybe they struggle with it. This makes it a simple, effective tool that they don't have to modify another club in their bag. And basically the PING ChipR is, it's a 431 stainless steel club, kind of, has the loft of a 9-iron. I think it's 38.5 degrees, has the length of a putter. So as a result of it, you basically just take a setup like a putting stroke and just basically work with that with the loft, and you'll get these low, nice little running chips. So for anybody that struggles, and we certainly know, lots of people over the years that we've seen that do struggle, you can go back and look at the lesson tee with Kevin Haime there if you want. But, from a club perspective, this is something that's helpful as well. So it's really used for shots, kind of under 40 yards. I haven't played around with this one yet. I've played around with the ChipO over the years. I don't, thankfully, I don't miss that many greens or enough that this would be a club that would be useful in the bag, but I can certainly see how it could be very useful for a lot of players, especially mid-handicap amateurs.
I was to say, for the type of player that this club is targeted towards being useful for. Right. When you talk about, okay, well, this is another club that I can put in my bag. Well, you can only have 14 clubs in your bag. What comes out to put this in? Well, for the type of person that this is targeted for, there's anything at the top end is probably very easily removable for the type of player that this is for. This is like having, instead of having a 52, 56, and 60 degree wedge, you might drop the 52 degree wedge because you can hit a pitching wedge instead and put this in, or you might drop the 4-iron.
Well, you see a lot of people. You see a lot of people, especially, players that are emerging, we'll call them, or aspiring players that, if you looked at their gapping within their sets, you'll see like a 4-iron, a 5-iron, or a 3-iron, and they hit all those clubs the same carry distance, the same yards. It's effectively one club. And they don't have to use that club a lot. Whereas if you look down the scoring end of things, there's obviously more gaps that are there, and this becomes more useful than just, carrying around an extra long iron that is not doing anything different. So it's just an easy way for people to kind of address things from an equipment standpoint. And basically the company emphasizes, you basically just use the same effort you would with a putting stroke. So it's not like you have to learn how to use this or learn to do a lot of things with a chipping technique. You basically set up with it, make a move like you would with a putter. It just happens to loft into the air and then start running, so that you don't have to use those, putters off the edge of the green when you get people that are obviously nervous about, chipping. They're 5 and 6 and 7 yards off the green. While that's great in Scotland, it doesn't work well here in North America, where you have, longer fringes that are hard to work the ball through. So
now, what's interesting too is, in keeping with, obviously, PING is very well known as a club fitting company. All the companies are all into fitting and stuff, but PING, this is what PING's been doing for a very, very long time. And even the ChipR comes in the
color codes,
array of color codes for fitting. So anybody that might think, oh well, it's just another club and whatever, it's the same principles apply when it comes to PING equipment. You're going to get fit for it. It's got to have the right lie angle. It's got and even the grip is a specialized grip for it. It's a slightly longer, slightly longer grip than normal. And you have the fitting color codes there. So it's typical PING and it's, innovative. And I think it will help a lot of people. Sure. Around the greens.
And the other thing they do too is they use that Hydro Pearl 2.0 finish. It's a chrome finish on this one. And that finish, if you haven't caught some of our content before on some of the PING wedges, it's designed to not allow water to kind of stay on the face. And what it does is make sure that you still have a good amount of friction. So what it means is that, when you're chipping with this, you're not going to get as much moisture residing on the face. And basically what's going to happen is that you get more consistent results as far as spin is concerned and friction off the face, on days when maybe there's a little bit of moisture or so forth. So like you said, it's not like this is an afterthought. They put the 10 color codes in there. As you mentioned, the grip that's 3/4 longer so that you can grip up and down on it. There are some adjustments there. It's available in steel or graphite, for a preference for players as far as feel of what they're used to. It's not like, again, they just kind of put this out there and slap the chipper name on the back of it. And here's one size fits all for everyone. They put the same care and consideration in this as they do the rest of their equipment.
Which is what you've grown to expect from PING. And I would expect nothing less than that from PING. So it's good to see that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's a cool little product watch feature there. So anybody that wants to check that out, ca.ping.com.
You got her.
And you can check out a chipper. And maybe it's the type of club that's going to fit into your bag.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, Scott, you're back in the Eastern Ontario offices next week, the Eastern Ontario studios.
Yeah, later in the week I will be back, but certainly in time to record our next episode for sure.
Okay, I was just wondering, are we recording another episode from Atlantic, the Atlantic offices? You just let me know.
All right.
Doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
You never know. I get my toes stuck in the sand; they might not come out. But
nice. I like to get my toes stuck in the sand, but that's not going to happen. Okay. Well, that does it for Scott and I for this week. It's as always, it's been a great show. Nice to get caught up and get you all caught up. I want to make sure that we thank our sponsors. Actually, before we get to that, I want to remind people about two things. I want to remind you, number one, about the limited edition Flagstick head covers that we have on our website.
Loving mine.
They're available for sale there. $29.95, I think, is what we have them up for sale now. And you can buy them directly from the website. We've been shipping them out recently. So it only takes, if you're in Ontario, pretty much if you're in Canada, it only takes a couple days for me to ship one out in Canada. If you're looking for that for a gift for yourself, for an upcoming event or a trip, you want a cool looking Flagstick head cover, check that out, flagstick.com. Also the Flagstick 2-Ball Championship, we are going to have to close entry on this soon because we do have a clothing component to the registration gift now with Levelwear. Levelwear has come on as a new sponsor. And they're going to be providing a cool little quarter zip pullover and a Levelwear cap for each of the participants to go along with the custom limited edition head cover and the Sundog sunglasses that are already in that registration kit. So it keeps adding up. But because of the clothing component of it now, we have to close registration. I'm going to put a soft deadline right now. I'm going to have a soft deadline of the first week of August. As a closing deadline. So if you're looking to play in the 2-ball at Brockville Country Club September 11th, 12th, 10th, 11th dates, then you want to get into that now. Go to flagstick.com and register and get into it. Is limited space available to begin with, and now with the clothing, I got to have your shirt size before the event so that we can order everything. So do that. Awesome. We have the the YouTube channel contest that's still going on for at least another week or two. Our great friends at Cleveland Srixon and Mint Green Group have provided us with some cool prizes. So if you visit the Flagstick channel and you subscribe to the channel, because you have to subscribe, and leave a comment, I want to win free stuff on any of the videos there, and you'll be entered into the draw, and you can win a Cleveland RTX Zip Core wedge, a Cleveland Frontline putter, or a dozen Srixon Q-Star Tour golf balls. So one of those three prizes could be yours, but you got to subscribe to the Flagstick YouTube channel to do that. So, all right, now that's it. Thank you to all our sponsors again this week: Metcalf Golf Club, Golf Sim Gurus, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, Kevin Haime Golf School, and our presenting sponsor this week, Srixon Golf Balls, as always. Whether you're looking for a premium urethane option in the Z-Star Series, a quality budget option in the soft field, or somewhere in between with the Q-Star Tour, Srixon is bound to present an option that's perfect for your game. Visit Srixon.ca for more information. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you're listening to and watching on these podcasts. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe on Spotify, Audible, and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us, and click the notification bell to make sure that you never miss a single episode. Get over to flagstick.com for even more amazing golf content delivered every single day to that website. Always appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I'm Jeff Botter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
And always remember, go for the stick.